Okay, today we're playing a game on Volskaya Industries. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we'll be playing Doomfist the entire way through. We are gonna get through all these Doomfist games sooner or later, I tell you. We are like halfway through, a little over now. So, we are defending Volskaya first. We're currently hiding out, waiting to see what's gonna happen. We could be we could have been out there already, like, just kind of camping one of the corners to see if we can get someone. Doomfist, right at the start of the round, if you're sat somewhere and people don't think to look for you, a lot of the time you're gonna get a free kill right at the start of the round. And if you don't, it's kind of easy to get away on Doomfist as long as you don't fuck up too badly, So they've got Symmetra, so they all went around the backhand side. And we sure did punch the shit out of that Orisa. I suspect we were going for the Zen, given he's who we were trying to murder at the time, but we ended up not getting him. This is the thing with, we talk about this every single time. This is the thing with trying to kill people using the punch with Doomfist, is if you fuck it up, it is a lot harder to recover from that fuck up than if you use the punch mostly just for mobility. Because it's a lot easier to get out using the punch, and, if you punch someone and you fucking kill them, feels incredible. Obviously, you fucking slapped him against that wall like a champion. But it's one of those high-risk, high-reward things, whereas, the slam uppercut, shoot the man, is a lot more forgiving if you fuck it up. And it's kind of easier once you get used to, the shooting of the man once you've uppercut them. Because, hitbox, Doomfist is a pretty big guy, but his hitbox on the punch, it's a lot smaller than it seems like it is. But that's okay, because they nerfed it, because when they released Doomfist, his punch, oh goddamn. Oh, Jesus, it was like if two Roadhogs got stapled together and then were just flung at you. That was the experience of trying to dodge Doomfist's punch previously. So, I'd rather they overcorrect in the opposite direction, frankly. If we could just remove Doomfist from the game, that'd be great. They said a while ago that sooner or later someone was gonna die in Overwatch, right? If Overwatch 2 gets announced in, the next 2 days, if we could just, quietly kill Doomfist in between releases, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that one a lot. He works for Talon, it's okay. God damn it. I should just, turn off the numpad when I'm recording these things, because that always happens, and it never ceases to be sad. And I pushed that button and started doing that, because that's what the numlock button is set to do. We've also got this one. So, there you go. What a disaster of a video already, Jesus Christ. But I've already restarted the video 4 times, so we're going through, god damn it. Because, fun fact, these videos are usually not too long, but a 20-minute video is usually an hour or more for me, because I, for some reason, insist on myself that it has to be done through on one take, barring exceptional circumstances, which usually means I'll get halfway through the video or more. Sometimes I'll get right to the end of the video and then that was awful, and then I'll start all over again, and I've done that several times today. So we're going to be a lot more forgiving with ourselves on this go through. So, we lost that first fight, really resoundingly, and that makes it very hard to start defending the second checkpoint, because they start coming in with lots of ultimates, and we don't have any ultimates to defend with. Did Roadhog have his ultimate? Roadhog had his ultimate. How did he die? He just got, clapped over there as soon as he started using it. And we got Valkyrie as well. Valkyrie is sadly not usually going to be something that wins you the fight by yourself. So, here we go. We've put ourselves in the middle of the enemy team. We used our punch to get in, and then we continued to use the other 2 cooldowns to fight. And now we are just in the middle of the fight, going kind of, fuck, lasers, shit, oh god. And then by the time the cooldown comes up again, we're already fucked. Gotta think about This is when you're playing, like, any kind of, like, flanker hero, which Doomfist categorized as, but, like, a cool... Let's adjust that. When you're playing a cooldown use heavy hero, right? When you're playing a hero that's really dependent on his cooldowns, we got there in the end. You've got to think to yourself, alright, so what do I do if things don't go according to plan? Because ideally, you know, we swing ourselves into the bad men and we kill everyone flawlessly, but that's not often going to happen. So we have more realistic expectations. You know, we think to ourselves, alright, so what's the most consistent thing I can do? And this is why people have, like, settled on not using the punch to kill people and usually using it as an escape. The punch is a lot less consistent than slamming and uppercutting, then shooting the person, and using the punch to get away. Because we've mapped all this out, right? Where, like, using the punch as mobility, it's one ability, it's pretty fast charging, you just zip right out. So unless you get crowd controlled out of the movement, you're pretty much home free. Whereas if you use the punch to try and kill people, well, now how do I get out? Well, I need to use the other abilities to get out, which unfortunately is uppercut slam. And so I'm having to use 2 abilities to get out, as opposed to 1. And it's a slower motion, because I have to go up and then out, right? Whereas if I punch, I just stop for a second, I'm out. And it's just it's a lot less, like, at the whims of the physics engine and hitboxes and enemy movement to fling in, uppercut the person. Because the slam uppercut is a fucking wide-ass area, dude. Like, it is hard to miss those abilities on people. And then the only execution required at that point is shoot the man in the air. But you're very close to the man, and you have a shotgun. While they are in the air, they also can't do anything really to escape unless they have some kind of movement ability. If they don't, they're just fucking dead, dude. Unless somebody helps them, or we fuck up. And then we use the punch to escape. It's just the most consistent way, and it covers your bases, right? Because it's a very easy escape at that point. Whereas, across all of the Doomfist games that we've watched from this person, the general consistent thing is, we don't think about step 2. We go in, and we push all our buttons, and we hope those mans are dead. And if those mans are not dead, we are hopping around in the middle of the fight, thinking to ourselves, shit, 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 while we wait for a cooldown to come back up to try and escape. But by the time the cooldown has come up, we have already been mostly killed. So we gotta think a step ahead. We've gotta think, what do I do if it goes badly? And that's why usually the method for Doomfist players is, I will use the punch to escape. It is very impressive to be able to, like, fling yourself all the way across the map using your abilities, but then you are in the middle of the enemy team and you used all your buttons to get there, and now you don't have them to fight anymore, which is a little unfortunate for Doomfist, shall we say. So, again, we used all our buttons right there, and it didn't result in dead mans. Fortunately, we could duck out of the way, and nobody really wanted to follow us into that confined location, strangely enough. Here we try, not so bothered about trying to use the punch to get Moira right there, because even if it doesn't kill Moira, if we punch her, she's taken out of Coalescence, and that's gonna be good enough a lot of the time. We managed to get, we didn't kill Zen, but we did manage to get Trance out of him, and in and of itself, that's a success, because we managed to get Trance out of Zen without using an ultimate, which is hard to do for most heroes, because you have to be able to get to the Zenyatta, which is not always something you can do on demand. Usually, to get Trance out of Zen, you're having to use an ultimate in response. Doomfist, if you've got that Zen in the air, and you're looking at the Zen, and he's got his ultimate, a lot of the times that Zenyatta is gonna go, I don't like this, and he's gonna push Q. And then, we can push Q without fear of Zen doing anything other than getting squished. And even if we don't do anything with it, Zen still doesn't have his ultimate, and we didn't have to expend much in way of resources to get it out of him. So it's great even if we don't kill Zen, because we bullied him. And Zenyatta's a very fun hero to bully, is he not? So there's Zen actually changed to Batista after that one. He decided he didn't like that very much. So and here comes the other thing you have to consider when you're playing this kind of hero. Who am I currently engaging on? So, we're flinging ourselves into the bad men right here. Did Roadhog actually use his hook before this? No, because he came through the door right there and I was, like, listening to see if I heard him use the hook rather than looking at the silhouette. No, he didn't. So, we're going in, and there's a Roadhog here, and a McCree. So, there's extreme chance of sadness flinging ourselves in right now, because we're going in versus McCree and Roadhog, both of which have got crowd control, and if one of them hits us, the other one is even more likely to hit us with their crowd control as well. So, this is where being a little bit more patient can pay dividends, because we fling ourselves in and we get crowd control by McCree. But if we just wait, right, eventually Roadhog's going to use his ability, then it gets a little bit safer, because he's trying to use his to make picks, right? And sooner or later, McCree is gonna, like, drift away from someone on his team. And then, like, even now, he just rolled off in that direction. I didn't start the pen, and now I'm pointing at my screen like a dumbass, because you can obviously see what I'm pointing at right now, can you not? So, McCree just rolled off in that direction, over there. So, he intends to sit over in this area, at least over in this area now, and, like, poke from that region, if he doesn't intend to go, like, fully around and, you know, play like McCree players often do. Don't do that, that's not recommended, but it's what they like to do. Now, if McCree is over in that area, and Baptiste stays over in this area, we could go down here and try to get Baptiste instead. We can see Baptiste is currently getting diddled by this orb as well, so it makes it a little bit easier to kill him as well. So we could fling down here, try and get him. McCree's over there. McCree now has to cover some space to be able to get to us, if he even notices that we're doing this at all. Because you know how people are when they're playing. And that is a lot safer than just, like, going in on the McCree, because as soon as we go in on the McCree, we have to kill this guy fast, right? Like, we've got to kill him quick, because as soon as he stuns us, shit, dude. That didn't feel too good, did it? The thing is, as well, for going with the McCree, is that we've now limited ourselves as well, because engaging on him like this has naturally pushed us over towards this more confined location, because, you know, he's going towards this alleyway. And so now, things get fucked up, and because we've got our punch right now, so we actually have an ability to get out, and he just uses crowd control, so he can't really stop us, right? But there's kind of nowhere for us to go, so because we're in this nice confined location, so we're either flinging ourselves, like, over into a dangerous area, or another dangerous area, or into a wall. So we engaged on a risky target in a risky location that limited our options, and it didn't really pay off for us. And sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient when you're playing a flanker-style hero, because the man that you would like to kill is in a very disadvantageous spot for you to engage on. And that's when you decide to wait a little bit to try and get the bad man in a more favorable position. Either your team engages, he uses his cooldowns, he strays away from other people, you know. Anything like that. Doomfist has a little bit more leniency in this way, because he's a beefy boy that has a lot of movement options. So you're able to get away with a lot more stuff than someone like Tracer is, because Tracer is, of course, very soft. Now, she's very hard to hit, because she's small and mobile, but there's a fairly small margin for error. Or you can hang up on this. That's a little upsetting. I didn't know you could do that. It's not really very helpful, but I didn't know you could do that. But Tracer, you know, there's a small margin for error, because, like, you get headshot by Ash, it's over, right? Like, his random shot can get you, and then it's all over and done with. Doomfist is a beefy boy, he's got more freedom. So we did the thing. We did the thing again. We were doing this because, of course, it was very fun to be doing this. But then McCree was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Get off of the fucking crane. I don't want footprints on my goddamn crane." So we get down. And then we flung ourselves into all the bad men, having already taken a bunch of damage because McCree shot at us. We're now in the bad men with no cooldowns. We use our ultimate. This perhaps encouraged us to do this because we had our ultimate. But now, we are still very wounded. We've got some shields right now, but we are currently less healthy than Tracer and significantly easier to hit than Tracer. And we decide, let's go a little bit further in. Let's double down on this one. And we don't kill McCree, and he shoots us before we get away. So, you know, going in at all at that point, risky choice. We could have instead just, like, slammed down onto the large health kit that was right under us, and then wait until we've got our resources back, we're healthier, and then we can go in, or wait for the fight to start. Instead of going, fucking McCree, and just, like, careening straight down into him and the rest of his team. And then we double down on it and use our ultimate to try and kill the man. It's very shameful to have to use Doomfist's ultimate as a retreat, but that might have been more advisable in that position, given everything that had happened up until that point already. Anyway, so, the correct choice would have just been to not really go in, though, on that one, given it was already a bad start to the fight. We don't want to then double down more on it. So now we have to attack. We have flung ourselves bodily into the entire enemy team again. We were rewarded with a kill on their Moira, and we were eventually punished. We've just learned Soldier is behind us. I didn't know he was behind us. So, could we have known Soldier was behind us? We should do some due diligence for once in my fucking life, and see if we could have divined Soldier was over there. I was looking for bullets, I didn't see any bullets go across from there, and then we of course are in the bad men right now. And, oh, I saw him then, but by this point things were already a little sketchy. I did see him over on the rooftop as we were, or the balcony rather, as we were escaping there. So again, you know, we flung ourselves into the entire enemy team, used all our cooldowns, did get a kill, and start getting away with it. If Soldier wasn't behind us, we might have actually fully gotten away with that one. But, not to sound like a broken record, even though that's the thing that I love to do the most. We used all our abilities, it was very risky, and we should have thought that one through a little bit more closely before we did that to begin with. We did decide not to double down on that one. That one got sketchy, and we immediately just disengaged with the punch rather than continuing to go in, so that's cool. Here, the whole team was going to be bunched up for that one, so we were doubtlessly going to hit a lot of people with our cooldowns, because we just heard Baptiste used his ultimate. So they're all going to cluster up next to the Matrix to start trying to use it. So if we can get through that, we are going to, like, hit them all with our abilities, and then, like, get a lot of ult charge and a lot of shields off of it. So I'm not too bothered about that one, to be honest with you. Just because they're gonna cluster together, like, slam, uppercut, that's a lot of shields, that's a lot of ult charge, dude. As well as a lot of disruption, because we're gonna knock up, like, their entire enemy team, and their whole team, outside of Moira, they've got no movement abilities, so it is very annoying for their team to be getting, like, knocked up into the air. Because they can't do much to escape after that point. So, we captured the first checkpoint very easily. Well, not very easily. They won a fight proceeding, so we're not expecting to, like, necessarily get a 6 snowball in on this one, because we didn't win the first fight. Tragically, we won the second fight, which means they did get to build up some ultimates, which makes it easier for them to defend now. So we snuck up around the bad men, we snuck up on them, got in there, but we did the thing again, where we went, oh, slam, uppercut, and then when I punch Sigma. And tragically, we didn't actually punch Sigma either, because we actually got crowd controlled out of it. But even if we punched Sigma, we're in the enemy tear. Is this me, or is that the video? I think that was the video, because it did it a couple times earlier. Nothing over there looked like it was dying, so I think I'm okay. Are you okay? It doesn't... I think the computer's okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I assume... Well... Okay. Now, we're back here again. Yeah, we went through all this. I'm guessing that, like, happened on the recording end, and we went, oh, that was a little fucked up. Maybe let's try that a second time. Fair enough. So we'll watch this one again, I guess. I didn't watch this video through ahead of time, so I didn't know that was going to happen. Usually I watch them through ahead of time, but I was feeling quite lazy today, and I have not managed to get that far into the video on my previous attempts. So, what a good video we've made. What a good video we've made today. So, we, in Bad Men, used all our cooldowns. Oh no, very bad. Oh, come back around. Oh, Soldier's doing that. We did not escape. Very sad. I mean, Soldier doing that was, like, unfortunate regardless. But, we did that thing again, where we used all our cooldowns in the fight, which means we now have none of our cooldowns to escape with again, if things go badly. You know, what's the saying? Plan for success, prepare for failure, something like that. You get the gist. So anyway, we're back now. Fight wasn't exactly going terribly in our absence. We found Moira. Moira is very low and just used her Fade to escape. We tried to punch the Mei. We are rewarded with a kill on the Mei. Even if we, like, missed the Mei right there, our team is, like, winning the fight at this point, so it's fine, you know. Low risk of being punished for missing in that situation, unless our team just, like, didn't give a fuck about the Mei, right? And we stopped next to him. So we did an excellent job of bullying the Moira, and we are fully intending to do so again. Moira might... Nope, she didn't learn a damn thing. Like, Moira might go out the other door after what happened previously. Nope, Moira didn't learn a damn thing. And she just came out the same door again and got punched. And you know, the worst part about that is that you know that Moira spawned holding the shift key to use Fade to get back faster. So she comes out the door and sees Doomfist and gets fucking punched. And then she doesn't think to herself, maybe he'll do that again. She just repeats the same process a second time. And, there's something definition of madness. So, now we can't lose anymore, which is always a very refreshing feeling. The worst that this game can now be is a draw, which is always very nice. I find extremely liberating. So, to no one's surprise, there's a Bastion on the enemy team. We're currently doing a lot of waiting and not really contributing a whole lot to society, but we are looking at these feet. So, you know, that's very exciting. We've decided to go now. An interesting time to decide to go, given that we know several of our teammates got killed, failing to push their way through the door. So, it was an interesting time to decide to go. We were rewarded with a kill on one of the bad men, one of the supports even, so that's very nice. Again, we used all our abilities to get in, and then we've put ourselves in this confined location, where there are very few ways for us to get out. And, weirdly enough, they took umbrage with what we decided to do right there, so, well, used all our abilities to get in, did get a kill, so that's nice. But then we've got no abilities to get out with, and then we put ourselves in a confined location, so even when our ability to get out did come up, there's nowhere for us to go with it, because there's only 2 points of ingress to that room, and they were all kind of covered in man, which is a little unfortunate. So Bastion's currently a tank. We're trying to bounce off some geometry. Not the best time to decide to go in. One of our mans is dead, but they're all just kind of sat over here, clustered together, and there's 2 men with crowd control in here, McCree and Roadhog. And, that's 3 actually, there's Toes as well, that's true. Good point, Toes. Also, McCree's name is I'm a Cuck Uwu, so that's very exciting. Not to sound like a broken record or anything, but crowd control using abilities, gotta be careful. There's bad men in there with abilities that stop us from moving. So, anyway, we've mostly built up our ultimate, that's nice. However, we also know that the enemy team, only one that we've seen use their ultimate is Bastion, so we can safely assume that all the others also have their ultimate or are close, so was a little sketchy coming into this fight. Fortunately, we managed to kill Batista, so he doesn't get to use his ultimate to try and save other people. Bastion died, McCree died. We had, but Genji had Dragon Blade, which is a very good ultimate. We killed Baptiste, so they couldn't use the lamp or anything to try and survive. They got no defensive ultimates. It all falls apart. Easy peasy. Capture the checkpoint. Great job, team. Wow, let's see what we've got today. We've got a lot of games done quick, which is, I like, but I don't know what's prompted this because I haven't watched any speedruns in a while at this point, actually, but it has thrown a great many at me regardless. Neryl's good still good. Maximilian Dude, great guy, also one of my favorite YouTubers. He is one of those people I would describe as being infectiously happy. Similarly to Day 9. If you don't know who Day 9 is, highly recommend as well. He is an infectiously happy, extremely optimistic person who is just very relaxing to watch. And Northern Line is my favorite YouTuber, so yes, fair enough. Great job, YouTube algorithm, I guess. Anyway, so what's that? The most that game does not sound like a broken record or anything, but ability usage, times to engage, like separating self from team, putting in confined locations, mobility, something, definition of madness. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I've started streaming on Twitch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. EST till midnight EST. There's a link to the channel in the description. And if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful. You didn't, but hopefully.